Welcome to another edition of Mortgage Talks. I'm your host, Adam Hires. I help loan officers go from 5 loans, 10 loans to 20 loans a month without the ad spend, without all the extra hours, and with having a real life. Are you tired of just settling for one or the other and not making the income you want to make, or not living the life you want to have, not spending time with your family, etc.? Listen, if you're out there, you're making $100,000 a year, you want to make $250,000 a year, you want to make $500,000 a year, it's out there for you in the mortgage loan officer game, but you have to know how to gain traction, and you got to know in your heart that you can do it, first of all, and you can do it without sacrificing your whole life. Why did you become a mortgage loan officer in the first place? Did you want to just work all the time and make all the money, but then you didn't want to have a life? It's so funny that I've talked to people and they're like, hey, listen, I just need to, for the next 10 years, crush it, and then I'm set. And they're just glossing over the fact that 10 years is a long time, and they are just, making it acceptable somehow that they're going to ignore everybody, ignore all their dreams and all their aspirations for the next 10 years. Like everybody's going to wait for them. Like their children are not going to grow up without their father or their mother in their life for 10 years, and that's just going to be okay. You have to understand you can have both. You need to do it now, not wait 10 years down the line until it's too late. So today we're going to jump in. Now, if you've been following my channel, we changed it from Hires Talks to Mortgage Talks. The reason is because I'm going to specifically talk to mortgage loan officers. If you are a mortgage loan officer, this is 100% a channel for you to grow your business. If you're not a mortgage loan officer, there's tons of stuff you can take into your own business and apply it, because most stuff translates from one business to the other. You just have to figure out how to translate it. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you. This business transformation planner playbook that I have is excellent for mortgage loan officers, but also just business professionals. It's not quite granular to mortgage loan officers. I have one for mortgage loan officers specifically, but you can go to hirescoaching.com and download this for free. Take this and apply it to your business and grow your business. It's going to have a lot of good questions, and life's about having the questions, to really delve in there and then get the real answers that are going to grow your business and your life, your mindsets, etc. So if you've been listening to my channel, then you have heard a little bit of what I'm going to talk about today, or you have heard about what I'm going to talk about today. However, I'm going to dive a little deeper, especially for mortgage loan officers today. And that is 3 things that really control your business. 3 things that really control your business, your life, all that. And that is will, skill, resources. Will, skill, resources. So if you're struggling in your business, you're not doing the amount of deals you want to do, and you're working too many hours, it's really going to be one of 3 or all 3 of those categories that you're going to be struggling in, that you're not going to be operating at 100% tempo. And what I can tell you right off the bat is will. What is will? That's a will to win every day. That's the will to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. That's just the mindset that it's going to take to not only be a high performer in your business, but a high performer in your life. It's such a missed thing in mortgage loan officer coaching out there. 100%. I've been coached by mortgage loan officers, or by mortgage professionals, by mortgage coaches in the past. And certainly I've gotten, good information off of every mortgage coach that I've, went under their tutelage for. And I highly recommend, if you don't use me, have a mortgage coach out there. But what I can tell you is that the big thing that's missed is all the time is that will, that mindset. You go straight into what is going to grow your business. You go into, hey, you need to call a certain amount of realtors. You need to call a certain amount of clients. You need to, text a certain amount of people. You need to set up your day like this. But, there's not any kind of uncovering of what's actually going on in your mind that is holding you back from those other things that we talk about. The X's and O's, as I call them, because I'm a sports analogy guy, is that the X's and O's, you draw up the game plan and it's like, well, why are you not doing the game plan? And what you'll uncover all the time is there is a mindset that is not there. There's not a will to win. There's not a will to be able to, make the next call. There's so many things that are not set up in the foundation of who you are and how you're setting up your day as a mindset that you're not going to perform at the highest level you can, and you're not going to make those calls. You're just not going to do it. It's what is the most of what goes on in your business. If you don't have the will to win, you don't have the mindset, you will not gain the skills you have to have. You're not max out the resources you have. And so it's oftentimes you think, okay, I just want to know what I have to do. But you're like skipping steps. You're skipping huge steps that are going to hold you back in your business, in your life. And so as I talk to mortgage loan officers, and this has been before I got into coaching mortgage loan officers, and making money doing it, I certainly was always coaching people. So back when I was 6 months into the mortgage loan officer game, I had closed my third month in, I closed 10 deals. I closed 8 the next couple months after that. And then I closed 20 loans in my 6th month. So I was right off the gates, I was hitting it strong. That was, by the way, no paid ad spend. That was no book of business when I came in. It was just skill set. It was the will off the bat to win every single day. And I had that will to win because I came from powerlifting where, I had to crawl up under 875 pounds on a squat or pick up 835 pounds off the ground. And I had that will to win, that will to fight. And so oftentimes when I, would talk to people, even in the 6th month in, because people are like, well, how'd you go from 0 to 20 in a month? And when veterans don't even do that most of the time. So you may out there have done it, but there's a ton of mortgage loan officers has not hit a 20 loan month in any month. And if they do, it's a lot of times because they did none before and it just stockpiled into 1 month, but not consistent, right? And so people would ask me like, how you do that? It was will. And what I could tell you is that oftentimes just people want to skip that step and they would go, okay, well, what did you do? And they don't want to hear about what you did mentally to get you to that point, because a lot of this stuff you could say, okay, here's how many people you need to call, here's how many people you need to meet, and that's really not all there is to it, because somewhere along the line you get thrown off track. And so mortgages are one of those things where if you're out there and you've been doing loans for any amount of time, it is a tough business, right? Like it is a lot of money to be made. It's not backbreaking work, right? But it's tough mentally. If you're not mentally prepared for that day, for that week, the will to win, you will lose. And I see it all the time. And people are like just defeated, and they have one deal go wrong, and all of a sudden, like they just go into hiding and they're sucking on their thumb and, oh my gosh, what is going to send me more business, because they've not done anything the will to win. Because once they start getting business, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to mentally cope with that day. So if you're out there right now and you're doing a good amount of loans and it's wearing on you, are you mentally prepared to win the day? And I mean win the day. That doesn't mean just get the loans done. That means win the day. At the end of the day, you're going home, you feel refreshed, you feel good about life. You don't go in wanting to kick your dog when you go through the door, right? Because you're just miserable. That is winning the day, is going home and being like, woo, I feel good. I closed deals. Not only closed deals, I'm good. Hey, and guess what? I had 3 loans fall out because of an appraisal and inspection. And then, one, I messed up like I had one that I messed up today. Well, guess what? Like if you have the will to win and the mindset, like that won't deter you. I'm not saying you don't get upset. I'm not saying you don't try to improve and you just don't care. But like if you don't set up that will to win, you will not win your days. It won't happen. It'll beat you. It'll wear you down. And anybody that out there that's been really successful and doing it the way I'm saying knows this to be true. So make sure that you're diving in first and foremost to what you're doing out of the gates in the day to win your mindset. Getting in front of that, meditation, prayer, getting to the gym, working out. So this morning I worked out, 4:27 a.m. I'm up, eat a little bit of breakfast, go to the gym, pound some clanging and banging, hitting some heavy weights, having some fun. And it just really sets off the day that I've already accomplished something and I'm already have that will mindset to win. And what I could tell you is that in somewhere along the line, I was very successful off the bat, had a lot of deals going and was doing really well. And then somewhere along the line, I got beat down some because I wasn't pouring into myself and my will started going back down. My mindset was going back down. I got negative. And what did that do? Have you ever been out there and so I'm going to share a story. Let me know if this is familiar. I had a really good day. I closed down, I think 2 or 3 deals that day. I had loan application coming in. Things are going well. I think things are going well. And then I'm at the end of the day and I go on Facebook and I see that one of my real estate partners, I think we're like this, I think we're good. They cheat on me. Anybody been cheated on out there with the real estate agent? Oh, right? You can go on for hours about how you get cheated on. And so I saw that they're bragging about this one real estate or one mortgage loan officer, and I'm over there just beating myself up. My whole day went down. Like I was like, man, like all of a sudden the couple loans that I didn't matter that I closed them and I had a couple more deals coming in. It was all about the negative nature of what happened to me, how it was done wrong some way. And what I could tell you is that when I came out of the gates, I felt like the golden child, because I was crushing deals. People knew I was a guy that was going to do a good job and like I had this great reputation. Now I felt like just everything was just yanked from me in that one post because I felt like, okay, well, all of a sudden they're talking behind my back or they're like, oh man, I'm going to use you now and you're not good enough. And all those insecurities that come up, right? And why those insecurities were they coming up? Because I wasn't feeding into my mind, my soul, my body enough. And then I was losing some of my sanity and it spiraled. And then guess what? What happens? I didn't want to call that agent back in. I was like, oh, heck with them, right? But guess what? At the end of the day, was I going to go to their funeral? If they died? I mean, I know this sounds morbid, but seriously, you got to think about this. Like, why should you be so upset? Do you know all their dogs' names? Do you hang out with them every single day? Some you may, but the ones you don't, especially, this is business. It's okay. There's other good mortgage loan officers out there. It's okay. Guess what? I should not let that hold my income back by calling them the next day and just having a conversation like I normally would and just saying, you know what? I don't care. Because guess what? I'm going to be there if that other mortgage loan officer fails. Or maybe it was just one of those things where they didn't even send them to them. They did a good job. They just want to shout them out, whatever. But then we control our income in a negative way and our mindset in every way because we didn't go out there and perform and push into our mindset early in the day before the gates open, and we go out there and we're doing that on a daily basis. And what I could tell you is that when I started doing that, I just stopped giving a crap, honestly, about if they did that because I was not going to let that control my income. I'm not going to let them control my income. They're thinking they're laughing behind my back or they're using somebody else and cheating on me. Who cares, right? At the end of the day, who cares? Your paycheck, your income, your family, those are things that matter, right? Not that. So you have to hit that. And I know I'm talking a lot about will, but that's just huge in your development, is that if you're not ready for that part of your game, then the skill and the resources doesn't really matter the most, okay? But let's go into skill. Like, what skills do you need to have as a mortgage loan officer? There's a lot of skills you need to have. What I can tell you is that the number one thing that you're gonna have to have really over everything else that I see the biggest miss in is just management, time management. Is that you're allowing your time to get sucked in by the wrong activities. And so that sometimes bleeds back into will, right? Why are you doing that? Because you somehow feel like you have to uncover layers, and there's a reason why you think that you have to make those calls during a certain time. You have to get thrown out of your game. But time management is the number one thing that you have to have. You have to make sure that, because appraisals come in, listen, the thing is that agents will bug you all day long. They'll call you and like, man, where's the appraisal at? And real estate agents, we'll talk about, real estate agents and, how you need to get deals from real estate agents. And we know that's a big source, but you also can't let them control your day. And how we do that is by allowing them to call us, and that's okay, they're calling us, but we're allowing ourselves to answer that call when we should be in prospecting time. So listen, your number one job and your skill set, another skill set, right, is really just sales, right? You're a sales. You sell mortgages. That's what you do. And so you can only sell mortgages if we go back to, we have management, time management on our side. So we have enough ample opportunity to sell mortgages. That is your job. It is not your job to wash the dishes. It's not your job to do all that. Like, you are the owner of your business and you are an entrepreneur. When you start thinking of yourself as an entrepreneur, a CEO of your business, your mindset shifts a little bit, right? That's a skill set you have to have, is thinking you are the business owner. And so you are you're sales to the highest level. That's what you do. You sell mortgages. So the skill set of selling mortgages, selling yourself, is what you have to have absolutely as a skill set. So how do you work in that skill set? So when I came out of, I was working at Ashley Furniture, well, not working at Ashley Furniture, I ran an Ashley Furniture and I coached salespeople. That's what I did. I love coaching salespeople. It's the toughest job in the world because we are not easy to coach, because we are the most opinionated and we see so many squirrels, but it's also such a blessed job to see people grow their business. And so I would coach salespeople, and I came straight from there. So I was running this Ashley Furniture, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go run mortgages. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna crush it. And so when I started to go out there, and I was like, okay, I got this job, and then I got a little scared. I'm not gonna lie to you. I took this big leap of faith, all commission, as you know, all self-sourced. So all the business I do all the time has always been self-sourced, because that is where the money is, and that's where all the beauty of the game is. It's not getting stuff handed to you. You're going out there and self-sourcing. Freaking phenomenal, man. And if you can self-source for yourself, you can make it anywhere. So I got scared, right? A little bit, like a little bit of fear, not like scared, like debilitated, but like a little bit of like push, a little bit of fire on my, my butt, going, okay, I've got to learn what to do and how to sell mortgages and how to sell, my services to real estate agents. And, so that was the biggest source, is real estate agents. And what I can tell you is that I had to learn my skill set on how to sell to real estate agents. And in this book, there is a dynamite sales dialogue. Here's one thing I can tell you, is that when you're talking to, and this is a huge skill set, is having real conversations and just asking questions. It's a real skill set to ask questions and keep in that funnel of asking questions the whole way, and the correct questions to lead the conversation and have them feel good about the conversation instead of saying, I got great products, services, I got this. It's like, that's the same thing everybody says. That's not what they want to hear. They want to hear about themselves more than they want to hear about you. And that's a skill set to get that out of them and having a conversation. So one skill set is absolutely in sales, and then in closing that sale. And so, and I don't really like the word close. I'll use it just so, because people know it, but it's really just more of a commitment type of questions. And so one of the things I will ask people, and I use this all the time. So I'll talk to a real estate agent, we'll have good conversations, and we'll go back and forth, having this conversation. And at the end, I will just, towards the end, I will say, now, let me ask you something. Do you feel like there's any benefit to using me? Something along that line. And what's going to happen is they're usually going to say yes. And then you're going to ask them, why is that? You want to ask them why. And then they say, well, I think because you have great communication, you're going to call them this, you're going to follow up my client, you're going to have a lead tracker, you're going to, blah, 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 whatever they say. And you're saying, oh my gosh, yeah. Well, why is that so important to you? And they're saying, well, communication's huge. I mean, that's just a huge thing to me. I mean, I have to have communication. Have you ever had a situation where communication hasn't been there? Has that caused you a little bit of trouble? And they're like, oh my gosh, it caused me a lot of trouble, man. I had to do that, right? They're telling you all the reasons. They're convincing themselves why you would be someone they can partner with. It's just that simple. And then what do? Then you just go out there and you perform what they want you to perform. You communicate the way they want to communicate, or whatever they want in their business that's a real true value. There you go. Easy. It's not throwing mud against the wall and saying, oh my gosh, they got 3%, I got a 2.99. I mean, they got this, I can do it at 580. And you look like a desperate, loan officer, So that's a skill set, right? Skill set of having the true conversations, right? We can go into a lot of skill sets you can have. We'll go into more as this podcast goes, as my training will go. If you ever, get coached by me, we'll figure out what your skill set is lacking, and we can dive into that and how to improve that. And then the third one is resources. So again, we dive all the way back to will and skill. Those, you have to, when you're talking about resources, make sure you're maximizing your will and your skill for your resources, because a lot of times what you see is, the top, this is very true in this business and any business, but especially in mortgage loan officer game, is that the top 10 and 20% are writing almost all the loans. And they have the same resources really most of the time is what, the other loan officers have. They may have they have an assistant, may have a couple assistants, whatever the top ones do. I certainly do, but we get there by producing, right? We get there by maximizing the resources we have, and then we add the resource. And so, what I see is that, oh man, if I had that, I would be able to crush it, And you're looking at resources. You're always looking at, you need more and more and more, but are you maximizing the resources you have now? And how are you maximizing those resources? One of the resources you have, obviously, is your team. What are you doing to maximize the resources you have there? And so what I can tell you is that, for example, myself, I have, my team, and I have a meeting 8:30 in the morning, Monday morning, that is always, just I dial that in as much as I can. And they're my biggest clients, right? Like, that's how I treat them. Like, one of my marketing assistant that helps me for hires coaching, she's my biggest client. I want her to be my biggest fan. I want her to, love her job. I want her to enjoy what she does. I want her to be enriched in her life. And guess what? That is maximizing a resource and a relationship, right? Resource, relationship, right? They're coupled, because that right there is going to elevate you, because you're elevating them. They can elevate you. They can elevate your clients. There's so many things. Like, are you loving on your underwriters? Are you calling them for just a, hey, you know, great job? Your processors, are you doing what you can to elevate their lives and pouring into them and maximizing that resource? And then you have all these resources, you know, out there, that there may be some program that you can use, that you when you call a client and just say, hey, listen, like, we have this special program for this. Who do you know out there that would help? And then guess what? It doesn't have to necessarily apply to everybody, but then they think, well, I don't have that person that fits that, but I do have, you know, somebody that is, you know, going to fit this other program, right? Like, they're gonna think of somebody that doesn't work for them, and then guess what? You can still get somebody as a referral, because you're pushing into, you know, to one resource you have that can help a client specifically, and then they'll come out with, you know, I don't have that. And that's the same thing when you talk to real estate agents. Hey, listen, I got this. You know, do you know anybody out there that's looking for a VA loan right now that we can really help? And they're like, no, I don't have a VA client, but man, hey, do you do rural housing loans, zero down? Oh yeah, absolutely, right. And so we need to use resources in so many different facets, right? That we have them there, we have the tools there, we're just not maximizing them. But it all comes back to the will in the first place, the mindset that you're going to win with the things you have. And so if you look right now and there's resources that you legitimately are not maximizing right now, if you're not maximizing, say you have a team of, you just have a loan officer assistant, and you're looking and you're not maximizing their potential, you're not pushing in as much just love for them, and you're not trying to train them, and you're not trying to coach them up, and you're not, you know, just maximizing what they can accomplish, do you really need to add somebody else? Because you want them to be as best as they can be, and that's a resource relationship that you can grow with. And so oftentimes we just try to keep adding resources and keep adding things, and we're not diving into it. It's like, you know, we can all be, like, for me, you know, at some point I was being a serial reader, right? But not really applying. It's great to read. It's great to have resources. It's great to have all these things. But if you don't, like, truly push into it to maximize that resource, you don't need to add other things, because it's just going to be half-hearted, and you're not going to really grow from that. So, all right. That's pretty much what I got today. Listen, will, skill, resources. If you're not growing your business in some way, some facet, you can go back to those. Rate it from a 1 to 10 on each. Oh man, I'll look at it, I'm a 5 on the will. Okay, what are we gonna do tomorrow? What are you gonna do this week? What are you gonna do continuously, always? That's gonna get that to 7 and 8 to 9 and 10. You're probably never gonna get to 10, right? If you're saying you're a 10 on everything, then you better be doing like 300 million a month in mortgages, right? If you're over there doing 2 loans or 3 loans a month in mortgages, and you're like, I'm a 10 on my will, and I'm a 10 on my skill, and my resources are a 1, guess what? You are lying to yourself, and you need to stop it, because it's not doing you any good. It's not here to call you out and make you feel bad. It's so you just understand, like, that's just not reality. If you're not doing the loans you want, you can absolutely say, my will, I guarantee it can get better. My skill can absolutely get better. And my resources are probably the 3rd, really low on the totem pole as far as what you really need to add. It's mostly those first 2. Now, if you're maximizing everything in resources and you're starting to grow out of your seams, you need to add another team member? Absolutely. We'll go into when you need to add team members through this podcast, but you've got to maximize those first 2. Remember to download my free transformation playbook at hirescoaching.com. Hit me up at 859-302-2641. Adam at hirescoaching.com. Definitely have a conversation with you. Listen, if you're not ready for coaching yet to go under my tutelage, let's just have a conversation at least, and just, a community of mortgage loan officers, making sure that we are loving on each other. I know it's very difficult out there in the community you're in because it's such a cutthroat game. But listen, you're somewhere in Michigan, you're somewhere in Idaho and Oregon, wherever you're at, and you're far away from me. We're not stealing each other's business, so it doesn't matter. We can love on each other. We can share some information, and that's okay. And that's going to just help us grow and win out there. Go out there. Remember, limited risk equals limited income, and no choice. Growth, legacy, impact.